Ngay từ lúc này thì chúng ta đã cảm nhận được sức nóng của World Cup trên đất Qatar. Giải đấu năm nay diễn ra ngay giữa mùa đông hứa hẹn sẽ đem đến rất nhiều điều thú vị. Hà Lan hiện tại ở trong bảng A cùng với đội tuyển Senegal, đội chủ nhà Qatar cùng với Ecuador. Liệu Hà Lan có thể làm nên điều gì bất ngờ tại giải đấu năm nay, giải đấu mà họ không được đánh giá cao bằng nhiều đối thủ khác? Ngày hôm nay chúng ta có buổi trò chuyện cùng với Danny van Bakel, cựu cầu thủ người Hà Lan từng có nhiều năm thi đấu tại V-League.
Hello, my name is Danny van Bakel. I played 8 years in the V-League and today we're going to talk about the World Cup.
Xin chào, tôi là Nhật Minh, đây là podcast của Zing News. World Cup this year will be held in the winter in Qatar, and Netherlands is luckily be present in the group stage. How do you assess the squad of Louis Van Gaal as they have performed very well at the Nation League and the qualification round?
Well, I always thinking between things, between hope and the reality. For me, the reality is that me and I think all the people in Holland don't really have confidence in this World Cup. If you compare it like the years in 2010, 2014, when Holland reached the final and the semi-final, by those years we had a lot of great players, like Van Persie, who was the top player for Manchester United, Arjen Robben, who was the top player for Bayern München, Wesley Sneijder, who was winning the Champions League with Inter Milan, Virgil van Dijk, who was a top player, and all other players that were playing at big teams in Europe. But by this time we don't really have top players, and even if you talk about the top players from Holland, it's like Virgil van Dijk. He have a very bad season at Liverpool. We have Memphis Depay at Barcelona, who's not playing. He's also injured already for 2 months, didn't play a game. So, and those are the players who have to be, to push the team. So, if you see the reality, I don't have confidence, but there's always hope. It is football. I think Holland is a little bit lucky with the pool where they play, with Qatar, Ecuador, and Holland need to win from those countries. And maybe we can go easily to the second round, and then, you never know. It's football. It's 90 minutes, so there's always hope. I hope, of course, for the best, but the reality, I don't have so much confidence.
There's hope, but it seems quite little. This year, Van Gaal squad has non-world-class player, especially in the strikers. We have Memphis Depay, as you say, Luuk de Jong, and Stefan de Vrij. So it seems that they're weaker than what Van Gaal have when he lead the Netherlands in World Cup 2014, when he has Sneijder, Robin, and Van Persie. He can rely on the non-world-class striker.
Yeah, that's you 100% right. I think in the past from Holland we had great strikers, Van Persie, Mackay, Van Hooijdonk, Van Nistelrooy, and now we don't have a top striker. It's Memphis Depay, but he's not really the top striker. He's on the bench. Luuk de Jong play in the Dutch league. So if you compare it with French, with Argentina, Brazil, they have all the strikers at the big teams in Europe, and Holland don't have. And normally Holland is a country with many creative attacking players, but now our best players are the center backs, like Virgil van Dijk, Stefan de Vrij, who's playing for Inter Milan, Matthijs de Ligt from Bayern München. So it's quite strange, and also next to no striker, we also don't have a proper goalkeeper. It's really a big risk for the Dutch team. Who's going to be the goalkeeper? So I see many problems. For me, the strongest thing is that our coach, Louis Van Gaal, he can make a team. That's okay. We don't have top players, but my hope is for Louis Van Gaal that he make the team together, and sometimes it can also working good. Like if Memphis Depay is frustrated in Barcelona, Virgil van Dijk right now he's frustrated in Liverpool. My hope is they will turn the frustration up in a positive, because now they go to the World Cup with a team. They go outside Liverpool, outside Barcelona, the Dutch team together, and maybe they're making a positive vibe on it. That's my hope.
As we say, but in my opinion, the Netherlands is not coming up to the Holland people expectation, but they're still one of the favorites. This year they're in Group A. a very easy group with the host Qatar, Senegal, with Mane injured recently, and the final one is Ecuador. So it's too obvious that they will get through and into the knockout stage. And if they do, how far do you think they can go? Like very realistic.
No, I think Holland have to be in this group, with all the respect for Ecuador, with all the respect for Qatar, and also Senegal. Senegal for me very strong, by the way. But Qatar and Ecuador, Holland have to win. Even Holland is not at the strongest. If they not win from Ecuador, they not win from Qatar, they don't deserve to go to the next round. So they're quite lucky. It could be more bad for them in the pool. So I expect the group stage, they will go to the next round. And even the next round, you can even still face a team who Holland can win, like maybe Wales or the USA. And then will they come to the quarterfinal? I think it's finished. We go home.
That's it, right?
Yes, I think that's it.
Yeah, anyway, I wish you and the Netherlands the best of luck. Yeah. If you look at the competitor for the World Cup this year, we see many top teams much stronger than the Netherlands. You have England, Argentina, and Brazil. Who, in your opinion, which team is the strongest one in this tournament?
I think I don't expect anything from England. I think they always, they lose on the stress. They have a lot of pressure in England. Everybody expect always they're going to be world champion, and on the World Cup it's not how they want it. On paper, if you see the names from the squad from French and Brazil, everybody will see it that they have a very strong team. French was 4 years ago the world champions. I expect there's something not right in the team. They have a lot of superstars, Mbappé and Benzema, and it's also a team. I'm not sure if French is will do the expectations, but I think it's gonna be between Brazil, Argentina, Spain, and Portugal. And Brazil also, they have a lot of huge names, but for me, the most best, and I think what everybody also like to see, it's the final tournament from Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. And if they will come in a final in their last World Cup, like Portugal, Argentina in the final, that's for every football fan a huge final.
So what you are looking for is the performances of the OGs, the GOATs. But in the World Cup 2018, we see many young stars rising, especially Kylian Mbappe. This year we have several, like Jude Bellingham, or Vinicius Junior, or maybe Kylian Mbappe again. Do you think the World Cup will witness young star rising like that, or it will the stage of the OGs?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit in between. I hope, because everybody have the discussion, who's the best player ever? Is it Cristiano Ronaldo? Is it Lionel Messi? And if they will come in the final to each other, then this decision who's the best player will be made that day. But with the young stars, you have a lot of great players. Brazil have a lot of great players. Vinicius Junior, Bellingham from England, great player. But I expect a young star from Holland is quite good. Is Cody Gakpo.
Clearly, World Cup is always the stage for unknown name to be heard of. We have talked enough about them, right? Can we turn to the dark horse? Who do you think will be the team that create surprise at the World Cup? Because recently we see Denmark, Serbia, or maybe Holland itself.
Now, for me, and it changed a little bit like 2 days ago. For me, it was Senegal. I was expecting a lot from Senegal. I think they're a very strong team. They're performing very good in the African tournament. They have a strong team with mixed by physical and technical. But then 2 days ago, their star player got injured, Sadio Mane. But still, I think they're in a group stage. They will go to the next round, and I still believe they can be the dark horse from the tournament. It's I think also very good if an African team will perform great and maybe once come to the semi-final at least. And even without Sadio Mane, I think they still have a lot of great players in their squad.
Oh, Senegal is your prediction. We'll talk about how you think about South African team, South American team like Uruguay or maybe Ecuador. It's quite strong.
Yeah, Uruguay, very strong team. They miss a lot of players from their last World Cup. The last World Cup, the two centre backs were very good. I forget the name. Godin and
Jimenez.
Yeah, Jimenez, exactly. Yes, those two. There was very strong centre backs. They had
strength.
Yeah, yes, very great. And then you have Luis Suarez in front, but they all quit. But I see a good new generation right now. Nunez, a striker. They have two central midfielders, Valverde and Bentancur, very, very great. Also, not so many people talk about Spain, who have also two very great talents, Pedri and Gavi. So it could be also Spain could be. Yeah, it's not really a dark horse, but not so much people talk right now about Spain.
But time never come for Asian team. Asian team is like one of the bottom area in the world. And this year, our two biggest teams is Japan and Korea in very difficult group with like two big teams in the group. Yeah. So, what do you think Asian team is lacking up to compete for such a big tournament?
Yeah, from all the Asian teams, I think I don't expect Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Iran, not so much. My hope is always for Japan or South Korea, like you described. And you see also, if you compare it with a couple of years ago, right now all the Japanese players, they play in the Bundesliga, Premier League, Spanish La Liga, they play high divisions, but they're very unlucky with the drawing for the group, because both of them play in the quality most highest group, so it's very difficult for them. And what I think the Asian teams for Japan and South Korea lack is like they're growing. The gap is closer from Japan and South Korea between the top teams. Yeah. But the last step, they don't have really leadership players in that squad. And I think it's a little bit also the mentality. Yeah. For me, the Asian mentality, it's very polite, very. My kids growing up in Vietnam, and I'm very happy. There's the lifestyle in Asia is more polite. There's not so much crime as in Europe or in other countries. Very safe. But in terms with football, sometimes you need to have a player who's a little bit like
cheeky.
Yes, exactly. We say it like a bastard, but then in a good sense, in a way, not.
It helped the team.
It helped the team. Who's a leader, and sometimes he go over the line to play with the referee, and also to compete with the opponents, to be really a leader. And I think as well Japan as South Korea, they have the lack of the really the leader role. And I think once they've got this, and because they have everything, they have the physical, they have the mentality, they have everything to be a strong contender for the strong European teams. But that's for me is the last step in football terms what they need to achieve.
Yeah, football also need to be quite tricky and need to be smart in a specific amount of time. And as we see, the defenders is one that often have to face a lot of challenge from the attack. So in your opinion, as a former centre back, who do you think is the best centre back in this tournament?
Then I have to stick at the Dutch team for Virgil van Dijk. For me, he's very complete. He's strong. He's fast. He can tackle the ball on the floor and he can win in the air. Very complete. This year is not a good year for him and for Liverpool. So he's not in form. So I hope he can turn it around. And he's like really a leader. Yeah. He have a lot of respect for all the Dutch players. And he's, I think, very important for the team to stick the team together and that's for me. He's very complete.
Talking about Van Dijk, we all see that he play like really not put his best on the pitch. People talk that he afraid of being injured in one of his last World Cup that he can be able to attend. So do you think that currently Pep Guardiola and Antonio Conte said that World Cup hosted in the winter is crazy because player has so many things to concern, and that's why Van Dijk do that. So do you think?
I think he's 100% right. Normally, the league is finished and then the team is brought together. So you have really a small pre-season for the World Cup, and you play some friendly games, and every country play the last game in their home country, so the fans say goodbye. And right now the players are in the middle of the season, so the next week even they play still Premier League game, and after the game they have to fly to Qatar. And I understand a lot of players, they don't play right now in the league 100%. Because they're scared for an injury, and they exactly like you say, like a Virgil van Dijk never played a World Cup before, and this is his chance. So I understand that he's not playing 100%, because you see what happened with Sadio Mane. Two days ago he got an injury, he missed the World Cup, and a lot of players have this in mind when they play the games right now. So it's I think Pep Guardiola is 100% right.
But on the other hand, there are some football experts said that the World Cup being hosted in the middle of the season will make players be more fresh, because they will keep up with and get used to the density of matches. I think quite a good opinion, right?
Yeah, I hear the opinion from an ex-professional football player, and he said he didn't like the pre-season. And also for the World Cup, he didn't like the pre-season, because then you're already 4-5 weeks together with the team. After you go to the World Cup, you again 4 weeks together with the team. And he was saying, okay, right, I wish in my time that we didn't have a pre-season, but for every player and for the World Cup coach, it's good to have the team all together. Then you can make your team, you can form your team, you can training on the tactics, you can prepare all your players for the World Cup. And also the club coaches, they are not happy with right now with the World Cup in the middle of the season. So now I think Pep Guardiola is right, and it's better when the season is finished, then you have a pre-season and everybody can prepare himself for the right way.
I understand your view. And that's also the end of today's interview. Thank you very much for having you here, Mr. Van Bakel, and we hope to have a nice time with you.
Thank you too. Thank you.